Up until now, we have established the basic UI of the app. So we have the light dark mode, we have login and logout functions, we have all the pages set up. So before moving on to the UI part, first let's set up the backend so that the UI can be populated with the real data. So for that, create two folders here. First will be Gemini and the second will be Firebase. So why I'm creating these two folders? This Firebase folder will contain a file which will have all the functions to get the data from the Firebase and to write the data to the Firebase. And Gemini will have all the data related to the Gemini API. So in Firebase, create a file called stocks.ts and copy all of this. So what I'm doing is I'm just importing the DB from the Firebase and getting all the Firestore functions. So I'm writing these functions like save stock, unsave stock, then fetch saved stocks, add recent stock, fetch recent stocks, and fetch plan. So these are all the simple functions. They mostly follow the documentation and the pattern you can say is mostly same. So after this, go to the Gemini folder. In this Gemini folder, create one more file called generate stock analysis dot ts. This will be a TypeScript file and copy everything. So make sure that this is a server file. Like in stocks, I didn't specify. So in this, we have to specify use server. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all the data. Let me open these functions so that you know exactly what we are doing. So see, first I'm getting the company news, the news related to the particular company, and I'm getting this environment variable. So I will show you the environment file also, like why I'm naming this particular variable like that and where we are going to put the Gemini key. So I am taking the last 7 days of data. You can extend it or you can decrease it. It's on you. But I found out that 7 days was a good enough thing. Now this has all been taken from the Finnhub documentation. So let me show you. Just go to Finnhub and yeah, we can type Finnhub docs. So in the API documentation, they have all the endpoints. So here you can see different endpoints they have given. So back to the code. Now using the company news endpoint, what I have done, I have received all the news and then I have put it into this. Because it returns a lot of things, I just needed the headline and the summary. So I didn't need URL. Though you can use these things also, but then again, for our purposes, this much is enough. And just to catch the error, I'm also adding the console log error and this return function so that we at least return an empty array. And I have already specified here that the symbol will be string. So keep that in mind because I didn't specify the return type. So that's why it is showing promises any. Same thing I have done with the company financials and yeah, with all the other functions also. Let me show you all of them. So these are all the endpoints. You can pause the video and also type this, but I will be adding the code in the description so you can verify that thing from that also. So all these endpoints, I would highly recommend go through the Finnhub documentation. It is a very easy documentation to understand and just type these endpoints as such and you will be able to see how I got the data or let's just say how I understood the data. So this is all the things and we have get IPO calendar also. Then we have the generate stock analysis. Now this is the function that is combining all these functions we have written above. So what it is doing is this one, generate stock analysis. It is taking the stock symbol and the user ID. User ID I'm checking because if the user is not logged in, he should be first redirected to the login page. Then all the data is getting fetched in parallel. This is to speed up the process. So what will happen is that each promise, or you can say each function, will execute in parallel. This will be a lot faster than execute each function one by one. So you can also do it like that. Let me show you. Const news equal to get news stock symbol, or you can say news test, just so that it won't throw any error. So like that you can do it for everything, but this is not a faster method like doing it one by one. This is a lot faster and preferable. So I'm removing this. After I have all the data, I'm just simply putting it in the prompt. So this is the prompt. I checked it and thought and got better results. Like you can also change this prompt, and I would highly recommend that you change this prompt to see if you can get some better results or some more metrics out of it. That will be a good exercise. So, what I'm doing, I'm giving the stock symbol, its news, company financials, which were as reported, the EPS details, recommendations, basic financials, and I'm telling that what I need, that I need title, I need the given data, basically only the news section I need. Then I need short-term analysis, long-term analysis, and key takeaways. And I'm also saying that give me a JSON object. Now I have said it, but I have to also force it. That's where this generate object helps. So I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash, and I have put structured output false here because I'm going to specify the structure. So here schema I have defined that in Z. Here Z is coming from Zod. Let me show this. This is kind of a typing, you can say object, or it converts the prompt output into the object or type object, you can say. So I'm giving that title should be a string, given data should be converted to an array of strings, short-term analysis should be converted like that, long-term analysis should be converted like this, and then we have the key takeaways. I have given the prompt and I have given the system prompt. Now system prompt tells the model that how to act, and the prompt is the instruction that what I'm giving you and what you need to generate. After that, I'm going to save the generated report to Firestore. So I'm going to try it, and that's why I have got the docref, and here we need the user ID, because for particular user I'm going to store that particular report, and I'm storing everything like saved saved at, which is the server timestamp, stock symbol, title, news data, company recommendation, and all the other data also. If there is any error, I'm just console logging the particular error, and then after returning analysis, I'm checking that we have the final error or not, like everything ran perfectly or not. Now in a lib folder, create one more file called fetch stock data.ps and copy this. It is going to be a simple file. What I'm doing is I'm fetching all the stocks, like all the stock and what is their data. So it's a very simple, I'm doing some basic code thing. This is just to show the recent stock and the saved stocks data. And we have the Finnhub API key and the base URL. So let me show you how you are going to get this Finnhub API key. So go to the API documentation, scroll up, and here we have introduction. So in introduction, they have given that you can find your API key under the dashboard. So let's open it. So here you can log in and you can get your API key. So I'm not going to do it because I already have an API key. Regarding how you are going to get the Gemini API key, that let me show you. You have to go to aistudio.google.com/API keys. And here you can see with every project you will have the key. So simple, just click on the create API key, then you can name it, and with any course, with any project you can do it, and you can also import the project, like you can create the Gemini project here. So it might to be failing because you have to attach it to a Firebase project. So here I have already created, so I'm going to use one of these APIs. So these are all the backend files we have. Now let me copy these two variables into the environment file. So this is going to be our Finnhub API key, your Finnhub API key, and there will be one more key, Google Generative AI. This will also be your API key. Now, there is one thing. If you look through the code of all this stocks, generate stocks, and everything, I haven't used the Gemini API key. Like explicitly, I haven't defined in this when I'm using the Google model. Because what happens is that because I'm using the use server directive above this, I'm using use server above, so it will automatically look into the environment variable and check for this. So if you have put anything other than this, it will fail. So this name is non-negotiable. Actually, this will throw error because I haven't put the proper name. So this is the proper name. Google Generative AI API key. So this you have to put it and it will look for this name. Now I will populate these fields and I will close this so that no one will see that. Now I have filled up the API keys, so I have closed the environment file and I'm not going to open it now. So if you go to the stock Genie, you will see no changes because now we have to call those functions. So now we can proceed with the rest of the UI. So let's start with the UI. So in the app, first go to the IPO calendar page, select everything and paste this. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting the IPO calendar data and I have updated it. So let's go to our app, go to the IPO calendar, and you should see all the data. So we have the data related to the IPOs, that one is priced, filled, withdrawn, expected, everything. So you can see that. So this page is complete. Now let's move on to dashboard page, because in dashboard we will also make components for reports. Other pages are, I guess, complete. Let me just check once. Pricing is complete, IPO calendar we just completed, billing is also left. So first complete the billing page because it's going to be very simple. So here in billing page.tsx, so we are going to paste this. So we have got one error and okay. So we have to create this skeleton. Yes, we have to install it. So to check what we are going to use, just type shardcn skeleton. So skeleton, this is how I do we have to do npm1, paste this command and enter. So this will add the component. Yes, I want to proceed. Added. So now the error should go. Yeah, now there is no error. So we are also seeing that it is also returning 200. Just let's check it. So this is also done. Now we have the count settings page already. Now let's move on to the dashboard, which is going to be our main page. What we are going to do is we are going to go into the root page file, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this part. So we will be using a dashboard component. So let's first create it. So in components, create a new file, dashboard.tsx rafce. I guess we can't do that here. If you are using VS Code, you can do the rafce. So function dashboard return dev dashboard, import react from react. So save it, and then we are going to use this dashboard in our main page. So dashboard does not checking. Don't worry, we can get it from. So simple import the dashboard. Yeah, we had to also export it. Export default dashboard. Now it will be easy to find. See, it is already showing us. So remove it, and now we have our dashboard component. So it won't be any different. Now let's make this component. So I'm pasting everything. Now this, I have mentioned this file as use client. Why? Because I'm going to use this use effect and use state. See, any hooks, whether they are provided by React or you have written your own, they can't be used in server files. And by default, every file in the Next.js tree is a server file. So keep that in mind, that if you're going to use the use effect, use state, use context, or anything like that, make sure you mark that file as use client. Now we have some errors, so let's correct each one of them one by one. First, we don't have the stock card. So let's make this component file stock card, and yeah. First, let's do the basic thing so that we can check that the imports are working proper or not. So now I know why it is not showing. Rename. I forgot to add the extension. Return. We will be returning a div for now. This is just to check that our defaults, this, our imports are working properly or not. So I guess, so now let's make this complete so that we know how to solve some errors. Yeah. So now at least our import error are solved. Now let's complete this card. So here is the whole stock card. It's a very simple card. I'm just using the card and I'm getting the symbol the current price, which I'm fixing to 2 digits. Then I'm using the price change to check that whether the price increased or decreased, and based on the price change, I'm changing the color. That if the price change is positive, we need to see the text green, otherwise text should be red. And this high and low, the all the information I'm getting. Now let me check if there is any error in this file. No. Again, this I'm also using as use client, so keep that in mind. Let's see if it is showing some error with use server. Better keep it use client. So save this file, and now let's move on to the second thing, which is the Gemini card error. Again, in components, create a new file, Gemini card.tsx. So you can do export default Gemini card or default function Gemini card, and we can do return div, so that at least this part is solved. Now you can see this will show error because Gemini card requires a lot of things and we haven't passed any. So let's make our Gemini card now. So I'm replacing everything with this. So what I'm doing is I'm passing all the information, title, news, data, company, earnings, recommendation, everything. I'm passing this and I'm displaying the whole report, you can say. Now we have two more errors. So first, yeah, at least now dashboard has no errors, but we need the recommendation chart and the earning chart functions, or you can say components. So in components, simply create these two files, recommendation chart, and what was the second file? Earnings chart. So this, I forgot to add the extension. Where is, yeah, there it is. .tsx, one more new file, and .tsx. So let's build this recommendation chart first. So paste this, and our recommendation chart is complete. Now what I'm doing is I'm using recharts and card in combination. So I have used an interface for recommendation data point. Why? Because I want a data point to hold, to kind of agree to this. Like this is the structure recommendation data point should agree to. So this you can also ask why I didn't put in this types file like index.ts, because this is going to be used only by this component. It is not going to be a public thing. So this is something I have done. So I have put everything here. Now save this and go to Gemini again. We have now to complete the earnings chart. Paste this. Now our earning chart is also complete. Same thing I'm doing. Just here I'm using the line chart. That there I'm using the bar chart in recommendation. Same thing I'm doing here also. That because this you can say data point is going to be only used by earning chart, so I'm using the earning datum type here. Like I'm not declaring it in the public, or you can say the index file. So save it, and yeah, now the Gemini card is showing everything as okay. Yeah, so let's see our dashboard page now. So this you might see, let me just check it once. So while we are creating this in auth and login. Yeah. So this I will suggest if you can comment this, because I later found out that if we don't use this, wait a minute, this initial thing won't come. So in final code, I have repaired this, so there it should not be a problem. If I log out and log in through a different account. So yeah, I am new here and let's give it any random password. Sign up. Never. So now we don't have this, but we can save a stock. So APL Apple, just an example. Save it, and we have the saved stock. I guess there is some more places we have these lines. In sign up, I guess we have this. Yes. So this set doc, you can remove it. I just put it initially to test something. So save it, and now let's run analysis. Oh, wait a minute. Let me refresh it once. So let's run an analysis on Microsoft. So MSFT and Microsoft and run on analyze. So it is running the analysis, and why we didn't get an analysis. So I actually used an expired API key. So give me a minute and let me refresh the API key. So I have changed the API key. Let me refresh it once and let's run on NVDA. NVIDIA and analyze. Yeah. Now we have the analysis, and it will be already be saved in our you can say database. Now we just have to fetch it in the reports. So in reports we just have to fetch it. So now let's move on to the reports page. This is going to be a very simple page because what we are doing is we are fetching the reports and then feeding all the reports to the Gemini card. Simple. I'm just giving every report which has been analyzed and been stored to the Gemini card. That's all. So that's all I'm doing. I'm getting the reports and I'm ordering them by the date, like by the timestamp on which the analysis was generated and in the descending order. So the latest will show up the first and then like that. So now it is saved. So let me just save it once more. And now let's see our reports page. So this is our dashboard and now our reports. So go here, reports, and here you can see we have our reports, like all the charts, key takeaways, and long term, short term analysis, everything we have here. So now we have completed all the pages, we have all the functionalities. Now you just have to deploy it. Deploying it is very simple actually. What you have to do is you have to just um, you have to do it like first you have to upload all the things on the GitHub, like you have to create a GitHub commit, and when you will link your Vercel account with your GitHub account, it will always start showing up. So let me show you. So I have linked my GitHub account here, And if I search here, stock. So this is, I have already done it, like it is on deployment. So I'm not going to do it again. So you can do it. And let me just show you one thing. All the environment variables we have set up here, paste them. Do not, because see, your environment variables are not going to be committed in the GitHub, and never do that. So that's why you have to put it here and then deploy. So if you face any problem, just look at the logs here. They give good logs and you can easily understand them. If you have still doubts, you can just comment in the comment section. I will try my best to solve them. So that's all for this video. We will meet in the next one. Till then, bye and take care.